Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. My name is Niko Mariano, otherwise known as Blackboard Parrot, and I am here with the first in many deck lists in the Punishment series. I have done the worst at our Pro Play Tour in Atlantic City, and I am here to present my deck list and tell you why this has happened. Now, first off, I play the best card in Great Natures, Blackboard Parrot. I play 4 heals with 4 draws. And these are run of the mill for just about any deck, considering they're probably the best trigger. These are my 8 front triggers, which I played because I didn't have problems getting my opponent to 5, but I did have problems punching through to end the game. Front triggers do just the thing. Now going to my grade 1s, I played 4 Monoculus. He's very good. He synergizes well with the rest of the deck with some of the other cards, and he also helps you rip cards out of your opponent's hand or even let big columns go through. If he's boosting a big column, you want to get a normal unit so they can't perfect guard the big column. And if it's a small unit, you want to get a trigger so they have to waste more guard on their cards. So if it's only 15k attack or like 13 or however big the attack is, they still have to drop an extra 15 on it, an extra 10, so you're wasting their card advantage. Next up, I have 4 Hamske for the grade 1. He's really good. He helps you not get grades screwed. He helps you tutor 2s. He's also a pretty good attacker. If you have Hamster, the grade 3 Hamster as the Vanguard because he attacks for 12. I also play 2 Silver Wolf because he's just a generic good booster, especially behind your Vanguard. Your Vanguard is going to be swinging for 24, which is pretty good in an XL deck. And then I play 2 Tank Mouse because Tank Mouse helps you get a lot of your resources, and it helps you definitely get cards that you need for combos and whatnot. I know a lot of people probably would just play 2 more instead of the Silver Wolf, but once he hits board, he's not really leaving unless you're playing against Kagero. So I definitely don't think you need more than 2, considering on his own he's not that great of a card. Next up for grade 2s, I'm playing 4 of the grade 2 Hamster. You need him if you're playing the grade 3 Hamster to get your combo off. He's searchable from the grade 1, so that's really neat. And he's just another 12k attacker like the grade 1 if you have the grade 3 Hamster out. Next up, I have 4 Binoculus. You basically always are going to be playing Binoculus. He's a solid card. Each of his, both of his effects are really good. So if you get a trigger and you get to retire and get 5 to your board is really nice. Helps a lot of your smaller columns and fix a lot of your numbers around. And the other one for just drawing is really nice too, if you get a normal unit. Then I was playing 3 Zebra. In hindsight, I probably would have just played more of the other card that I only played 2 of the Geograph Giant, because with the Zebra, he's good for like a turn or 2, but he's easily picked off because he's only 9, and you naturally don't have as many cards in hand as other decks, and you definitely need other cards on board for him to work. But with the Geograph Giant, he's always going to be hitting for 27, and he's going to be base 17 on your opponent's turn, which makes him really hard to get rid of. So in hindsight, I definitely should have played more than these. Moving on to my grade 3s. I was playing 4 Leopold, which is par for the course, and 4 Hamske. Leopold is the best card in this deck. He makes a lot of it work. Hitting 2 normal units with his effect, because if you ride him over a 3 or there's a 3 in soul, you get to check the top card twice. And if it's a normal unit, you get 2 free cards, and if it's a trigger, he gains 15 in a crit. A lot of times I was really only going for the free cards. I mean, late in the game you wanted to see like 1 trigger maybe, but just getting 2 free cards, pulling 3 non-triggers out of the deck, especially later on, is really nice, and helps you end the games a lot. And especially just gets you started, because if you get 4 free cards, it's really nice. Then the Hamske. Hamske is really nice if you can actually get him off, especially if you're already snowballing a lead, because getting the 2 XL circles makes your deck unmanageable for a lot of other matchups. It helps a lot in the specific force matchups, like Neo Nectar. If you can rush Neo Nectar, they have a really hard time recovering because they're just calling whatever at that point, and they're not getting free draws and free power, so you can really keep beating them, especially when they need a block early. So he's really nice. He's kind of inconsistent though, but I think he's a better choice than Bison.
So you got 57th place out of how many players?
64.
64.
Which means I was better than 6 people.
65. It was 64.
Oh. But
so what what did you play against?
Round 1, I had before the repair played against Genesis, and I was very confident because I thought Genesis was garbage. But then I got repaired after my opponent had shown me that he was grade screwed, so I was a definite win for game 1. So I got repaired into Neo Nectar, which is probably the deck I didn't want to see the most. Definitely didn't want to play against that deck. Game 1 against the player I played against the player. He's actually very good. He ended up taking 2nd or 3rd, I'm not sure. But it was a very good game. He came in 2nd, I'm being told. He came, so game 1. It is a good back and forth. I had a pretty alright rush, and I just towards the end couldn't keep up with the pressure that Neo Nectar puts out, and it really came down from him being. I got him to 5 early, but I just couldn't get the fronts to push him there. And the last turn, I just couldn't get there. I was 5k short on the guard next turn, and I couldn't keep up. Then we went to game 2. Game 2, I was grade screwed at 0 for 2 turns, and that's basically all she wrote. I didn't even make it to 3 before he was able to kill me. So that put a damper on my day. Definitely wasn't too happy about that. But I was confident, so I went to match 2. Match 2, I played Murakumo, and Murakumo was probably like the second deck that I didn't want to sit down again, because I can't rush it, because if I rush it I get locked and then he probably kills me that turn. And if I don't rush it, he builds a free board and I lose. So that didn't matter because game 1 I got grade screwed and lost basically immediately. And game 2, I was controlling his counterblasts. I had him stuck at 2. I was just waiting till I can ride my Leopold. So I would take my turn and I wouldn't even give him a damage. I would just attack into his rear guards because he was burning through left and right arresters really quickly. So I knew he only had 1 arrestor left, and I finally get to ride my Leopold, and Leopold hits 2 triggers, which normally seems like a good thing. It was actually a bad thing because I have to either attack him with no board and attack into a rear guard and just blow all that free damage, or attack Vanguard and hope he can't get to that last arrestor. And he ends up top decking it anyways after drive checking into no triggers. So he can just lock me and kill me, which is a tad bit upsetting. Because he didn't have the soul to use Zambaku, so he needed to raw draw it, and he did, of course. So I lost that game. Then game 3, match 3, I decided to stay with the advision of my teammates, which is not a good idea. But
word. Advision?
At the advice of your teammates.
At the advice of my teammates. Advising?
That is not a word.
Whatever.
At the advising of my teammates.
Look up in your dictionary.
Anyways, match 3, I got my opponent didn't show, so I did get a win. It wasn't the win I wanted. Then match 4, I sat down versus Gold Paladins, which is a deck I know very well. But my opponent played Vanilla Rush, because I think during both games, spoiler, there was only 2 games. During both games, I believe he activated 2 effects and continued to just waterfall triggers off the top and beat my face in. And then game 2, I got grade screwed again. So, I should have played more Blackboard Parrots, was definitely my problem number 1. Because if I was grade screwed at 0, I could have wrote a Blackboard Parrot and gotten 2 extra draws, which definitely would have upped my chances of victory. But I hope I don't come in last again. Please,
You will.
please like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to PewDiePie.